Hi, this is 91.1 KLSU. I am Sofia, and here I am with Ethanol Merman. Would each of you like to introduce who you are and what you do in the band?
Hi, I'm Alex, and I'm the front man.
My name's Ezra. I play guitar.
My name's Hunter. I play drums.
My name's Jack. I like long walks on the beach, deep conversations, and I play the bass.
Beautiful. So it's kind of a generic question, but how did all of you meet and make this beautiful band a reality?
Oh man, this is a long one.
Story.
What a story! So
We got all day.
I was born on May 25th, 1999. No, I started this as a solo project around COVID. Just played every instrument, had MIDI drums because I can't play drums to save my fucking life. And did that for a couple of years. Made a couple EPs. And then started to put an actual band together. Jack and I are the only original members. Actually, that's not even true. I'm the only original member. But Jack has joined in first. I didn't really know him, but knew he played bass, and I hit him up, and now we're besties. And then Ezra joined.
Tell this one.
Yeah, Ezra, you tell this part.
So I moved to New Orleans from Boston a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, something like that. And I was moving down here to join a band that was not Ethanol Merman. And I was moving in with the front woman. And she said, "Hey, we need another roommate." And I was like, "Okay, sounds fine. Do you know anybody?" And she said, "Yeah, I know this guy named Alex, but I'm not so sure about him." And I was like, all right, that sounds like it'll work, whatever. I moved down here. I was a little afraid. I was like, what is this dude with the mohawk that I've been told about? It turns out that this other person was a really difficult roommate to live with that I was moving down here specifically to live with, and Alex was the coolest dude on the planet. And we spent all of our time hanging out together, and then we wound up working at the same restaurant, and I joined his band not long later because the last guitar player ditched town like overnight. Yeah. Like something happened in his life, and he was just like, "I'm out of here, bye," and he disappeared. And Alex was like, "We have this show on Halloween. It's at a house party. No pressure, but can you do it?" I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure."
It's beautiful.
Oh, there was pressure. I forced him to do it.
That was divine intervention at
And
work.
then we tragically lost our last drummer to the mean streets of Philadelphia. R.I.P. Sam. He's in a far worse place. So Hunter came in, and he's not the step drummer. He's the drummer that stepped up. Yeah.
I remember that. So I had discovered y'all actually at a ska show of all places. It was for Joystick and another band that is not local.
Hans Gruber and the
Yes,
Diehards.
shout out to the Grooves. I love y'all. But how that work? Do you feel like there's a lot of ska inspirations in your music, and is that like a scene that inspires you in any way?
Absolutely. So I'm kind of the only one that likes ska in this band.
I like it.
Jack likes it. Yeah, that's fair. Ezra hates it.
Everyone needs to learn how to have fun.
And I wanted the EP. I wanted to end it on a silly one, so we made a ska song.
Well, you made a ska song. That song predates most of the band.
Actually, that song predates the entire band. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just love the energy. I love the sense of community. I love the freedom of it all. And I mean, yeah, we definitely take inspiration in the sense that we don't really like to take ourselves seriously, for one.
I think that's beautiful.
Thank
Ezra,
you.
what's your beef? What's your beef with ska?
I don't really have beef with ska, but I think we're already a pretty whimsical band. You may not be able to tell from our music, but the extra dose of whimsy is not necessary.
I think the Cher cover adds the whimsy. Anytime I've seen y'all, there's always some fun cover in there, and I feel like that really exudes your personalities outside of the band and your vibe,
Thank you. We try.
But Y'all are not ska, in fact. I'm merely a ska person, so I must bring it up, but you're more so of a punk band. So can you speak on what it's like to be a member of the New Orleans punk scene and being part of that community for y'all? You know, obviously some of y'all aren't from New Orleans, so how has that experience been for y'all?
I mean, it's been good. It's a great little underground scene. I've been going to shows ever since I moved here 5-6 years ago, whatever. And so now to like, you know, be playing on bills with bands that I've been seeing forever is pretty cool. Like Joystick, for instance, like when they hit us up, I was like, no fucking way. Or even some of the smaller bands. It's a very incestuous scene, I'll say that. But
Very much so.
you know, it's a nice little community. We're here for it. Does anyone else have anything to say?
I know New Orleans is like very much famed, especially for its like jazz, R&B, blues, all that kind of stuff you can see on like Bourbon Street or Frenchman. But I do really like just all the different types of music that New Orleans does have to offer. And I do kind of like that punk is more, I guess, separated from the amazing like music of New Orleans, because it kind of makes it seem like extra special and extra secret, if that makes any sense. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
fun.
It's a special place. There really isn't any other DIY scene like it from what I've seen, at least as an outsider. It's very eclectic in a way that I really can't describe to other people, you know?
Yeah, and New Orleans is just a weird place
It
in the
is.
best possible way. It's so decorated and loose and just odd. And certainly playing in that music scene, you just get something of everything. And even in our sort of like punk circle that's, you know, you'd imagine would be very straight ahead, you get all sorts of weird variation, people throwing stuff in and dragging music in from other genres and covering music that seems so far from being punk when you hear it for the first time from the original artist. And then, you know, one of my first memories of New Orleans punk was going to see Bullshit Machine at Banks.
I love
Bank Street
R.I.P.
was a place, and they closed their set with a cover of the Scooby-Doo theme, and it's to this day the best thing I've ever heard.
That's probably the most beautiful thing I've ever heard, and I'm so heartbroken that I'm learning about this just right now. How about the rest of you? Do you have any particular first or favorite memories of being in the scene that you'd want to share? Something that's really stuck with you?
I mean, I guess for me, everything is really interesting. Because I don't know, before I got here, like I'm from Ohio. Like there's not a crazy scene anywhere I'm from, you know. I mean, there probably is, at least I'm from like a small town. There's no DIY shows, nothing crazy. There's honestly not even really shows other than like cover bands, those touring cover bands, you know, which is cool. That's a bag. Like for sure. But I don't know, like I'm still more of an outsider to the scene, like still learning new music and everything, hearing new bands. Alex is helping me with that. But I always liked punk because it's fast and it's heavy, and that's the kind of stuff I like to play. So it's been a really nice, like, I don't know, I felt like hugged by the scene, you know, like everybody's chill. I love talking to the other bands, and it's nice that we play with a lot of the same people a lot, you know, and you build that relationship, and it's really fruitful, you know,
is.
down the line. Yeah.
Absolutely. What about the rest of y'all?
I mean, probably my most like important memory was going to Bad Operations' first show. I think it
God,
was
that show.
them, Joystick, and Stuck Lucky.
I love Stuck Lucky.
Yeah, they're great.
There's nothing like them. They're really such a special band.
Yeah,
All
and
three of them, really.
exactly. Yeah, they're all amazing. And you know, I mean, I'd been a ska fan my whole life, but I had like no idea that there was a. Honestly, I didn't even know that there was a ska scene going on outside of maybe like the Interrupters or whatever. So that was crazy and eye-opening and just truly wonderful.
Absolutely. This ska scene that's down here is something special that I feel like a lot of outsiders aren't familiar with, but when you experience it for the first time, it's life-changing.
This might sound a little bit cliche, but like my most formative memory, and actually like with this band, is honestly our first show back when the lineup was like completely different, but I was still in it with Sam and Yvonne.
Our second show.
Our second? Oh yeah, Yeah, you're right. Show number 2, my bad. Because before that, I had always just kind of been a bedroom bass player. I played for myself and myself alone. I wanted to be a part of a band, but it was just kind of getting myself out there. But I think that was kind of the moment it all clicked, like, holy shit, I love playing music with people and I love being a part of a band. I want to do this for the rest of my life. And I mean, I kind of had already set up, especially in a city like New Orleans, where there's just so much cool music like happening all the time.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful answer. And I feel like y'all are a pretty eclectic outfit of a band. Do you want to go through some of y'all's big inspirations, specifically for your EP that recently came out? Goodbye, Blue Monday.
Fuck. I feel like I don't take like when I'm writing a song, I'm not necessarily taking like direct inspiration. It's just kind of like the vibe. But I mean, like the indirect, like always there influences are like everything from like Rancid and Drug Church and the Distillers to even like Radiohead. They're my favorite band, and I've had friends that be like, I can kind of hear the influence in it, and I can't, but they can. So I guess it's there. Yeah.
Very nice.
Do we talk about the title track?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever
So
your
it's,
heart
I
desires.
have a couple of different stories about this. I mean, personally, I'm a huge like Jane's Addiction fan, and I've just been getting into all sorts of stuff. I grew up with Jane's Addiction and Fugazi and Sublime and that sort of thing. A lot of like Southern California rock bands. But Alex and our previous drummer were writing Goodbye Blue Monday, the song on the EP, and they came out of it. They're like, guys, we wrote this awesome new song. We need to play it at the next rehearsal. We were shooting for Dream Pop Alice in Chains. And I give them this look. I'm like, so you mean the Smashing Pumpkins? And that's sort of what it was. And I just have this like memory of like, it was the middle of summer when we recorded that. And I think I spent the day before we went in, like sitting on my porch swing, drinking coffee, listening to Silver Spun Pickups and the Smiths, like How Soon Is Now. And we just sat down, and we knocked that one out pretty fast for a song we didn't know. Like we'd just written it when we sat down to record it. It was it's the only one on, it's one of 2 songs on the record that we hadn't been playing live for
Really
years.
interesting. Just kind of clicked with y'all. Very special. I should have prepared this a little better. I had a question as soon as it left my mind, but how does it feel having the EP out and kind of putting that out into the world? I feel like it's always a really vulnerable experience putting new art out there for people to perceive and witness and give their thoughts on.
Thank fucking Christ it's done. I mean, I had conceptualized this EP and written like half the songs on it. Like before this was a band, it was going to be another bedroom recording thing. And it was just, I don't know. Then when the band came, I was like, we need to do this as a whole thing. And just the process was fucking exhausting. Ezra can definitely speak more on that as he mixed and mastered the whole thing. But Jack, do you want to say something about it first?
It was horrifying. It's just like you said, it's like being very vulnerable, but just having people out there to perceive your art, especially when you are your own biggest critic, you might feel like people are kind of, I guess, amplifying those sentiments that you have about your art. But then, like, you talk to people about it and like, oh yeah, I did this and this, and I wasn't really sure how I felt about it. And then people are like, that was really good. So it's kind of, it's both horrifying and relieving to hear that like people actually like our stuff rather than just kind of echoing those sentiments that you have about it in your head, if that makes any sense.
It's scary, but it's a rejuvenating feeling, I feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh man, I too am very glad that it's done. Every time I sit down and listen to it, I'm like, man, would like to change this or that or something. Like there's always something,
Yeah.
and it's usually something new, and I think that's just sort of part of it. But I don't know that people fully understand how ridiculous of a process it is to like just make 6 songs and then record them and be happy with it.
Absolutely.
That's like just writing the songs in the first place and figuring out how you're going to put them together. It's the grandest puzzle in the world. It sucks. It takes forever. You sit down, you're like, oh, I really like that. And then you like play it into voice memos with the guys and you're like, oh, that sounds terrible. I don't want to ever do that ever again. And so you sort of have to get comfortable with this thing that you're making. And then once you're happy with it, I think we're very lucky in that we got to play a lot of the songs that we wrote on the EP, ones that we wrote brand new and ones that had been written a long time ago, in front of audiences at gigs. Just it gave them that patina of like, we do this all the time. We play these songs. This is part of us.
Yeah.
Instead of just writing it and recording it and hoping for the best.
Yeah. It feels like it's not quite like in an echo chamber
Yeah.
when you perform things live.
But that's just months and months of like sitting with these things and being like, what do I want to do on this? How do we want to have this sound? And then like going on stage and having them like one of our songs right now that we love maybe the most and that audiences always respond really well to. The first time we played it, it was met with dead silence.
Really?
Yeah, it was rough.
I was gonna say, how did that feel?
I mean, I wasn't too aware of it, but
I cried.
Oh.
No, I didn't. I don't give a fuck. You can't win them all. That's what I'll say.
It's true.
You can't win them all.
You guys put yourself out there, and sometimes it goes really well, and sometimes it goes horribly. But all you can do is just move on from it and see how you go from there.
yeah. And then like we don't really have a budget. We don't have backing. We have very supportive friends and families and day jobs, and we sort of just went after it and did everything we could to get it done. And as a result, we just had like entire recordings that were almost unusable and took a lot of fixing and working on. And, we were really worried that like we'd recorded everything and thought we were done. And then we were trying to get it to sound nice as a mix and just running into walls. We even released one of the songs as a single and then listened to it a number of times because it was out. And then we were like, yeah, we got to pull that one back in and do it again. And we didn't really wind up re-recording too much for it, but it did take some dressing up in the mixing process. And mastering is a subtle art that makes or breaks the sound of a record.
1,000% as someone who's heard some.
And I've never mastered anything before. And I broke mastering rule number 1, which I knew I was breaking, but I had to break it, which is that if you mixed something, somebody else has to master it.
I see.
And there's good reason for that. Not that I'm particularly familiar with that, but I think we were just really white knuckling our way through it, and we finished it and we slated it for release, and we were just like, whatever it is what it is, and it's going to be out. And we haven't really heard anything bad yet. We're all really happy with it. People who have listened to it, friends, family, fans, everybody, they're like, yeah, this is music. I like this. I can listen to this.
It is indeed music.
It is music, but it is out there. You were vulnerable and you put it out there and people enjoy it. I can definitely say that us here, that we enjoy it. So,
Thank you so much.
of course. I have a question for Alex, actually, specifically.
No way.
So you said this started out as like a solo project during COVID, so a COVID band, quote unquote. How has like that transition over the birth of this project turning into like a live outfit been? Has it been like an easy process? Did it feel like it was just kind of the natural transition, or was there some growing pains?
I thought it was going to be a lot rougher because, I played in bands all throughout high school, but I wouldn't say it was anything like serious. And, this was the first thing my third solo project. I will not name the others, but unfortunate stuff. But, this was the first one that I'm like, okay, like I'm taking this shit like seriously. And making and recording everything myself, I was like, I don't want to give up that control I don't want to relinquish it to a bunch of jabronis. But once I just kind of learned to let go and trust that other people too have good taste, and you know, no, they can't match my artistic genius, but they can come close. You know, I'm definitely the Paul Simon here, and they're all collectively Art Garfunkel, but I don't have an ego. But no, it's a much smoother transition than I thought,
That's good.
and I love their tastes, and I love what they've done with my songs.
Absolutely.
And now we write together, and I think we're writing the best stuff we ever have because we're all in it together.
Absolutely. I think that's a great answer. I mean, as someone who's seen y'all a handful of times live, including, you know, like 20 minutes ago, I think y'all have something special going on, to say the least. Is there anything else y'all want to share with the people, the masses of the interwebs?
Check out Goodbye Blue Monday, the new EP. You know, it's got something for everyone. There's minute and a half songs. There's 5-minute songs. There's ska.
There is ska.
Yeah, there's ska. There's the aforementioned Dream Pop Alice in Chains. Yeah, it's a good record. I think we killed it, and y'all will love it.
I think so too. So yeah, this is Ethanol Merman. Where can people find you online?
On Instagram at Ethanol Merman, on all streaming platforms, Bandcamp. We're going to be setting up a website for merch soon, so look out for that.
And all of our favorite venues in New Orleans.
And all of our favorite venues in New Orleans, including but not limited to Siberia, The Goat, Carrollton Station, Poor Boys.
When's our next gig?
Yeah, when is
Oh,
your
our next
show?
gig is May 1st at The Goat with Raph in the Rotation and Planet of the Little Green Men.
Very exciting. So if that's something that sounds cool, and it is, I think everyone should go to that show. It's going to be a great time. And again, you should check out Ethanol Merman. You're on all streaming platforms. You can purchase their new EP, Goodbye Blue Monday, on Bandcamp or wherever music may be purchased these days in the year 2024. And yeah, this has been Ethanol
Oh, and
Merman.
one more thing to add. If you do buy it on Bandcamp, all proceeds go to the PCRF, the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. Free Palestine.
Amen. This has been KLSU. This has been Ethanol Merman. See y'all.